I just want to say that I've been getting a ton of great responses from doctors who are taking these gifts and plugging them into action in their practices. And the number one question doctors have been asking is, Bill, what is the fastest way to turn these gifts into real patients, real money for my practice right now? My answer is simple. I've got a complete system called Blatchford in a box. And because it's my 70th birthday, I'm knocking 80% off the price. Normally a $5,000 system, I'm offering it for the ridiculously low price of just $9.97 while supplies last. We've got a few dozen in storage, and when they're gone, the deal's over. This is the starting point where all of my most successful clients begin their journey of making more and working less. Don't just take my word for it. Scroll down and watch the video reviews of some of the doctors who purchased this system and watch how it helped them, and then decide if you want to give it a try. Here's what's inside the box. Here's what you will get. A complete DVD set, 6 hours of DVD for you and your team to watch on every subject I cover in our coaching program. So this complete set of DVDs. Now let me tell you a little bit what's in these DVDs. There are 6 DVDs, 6 complete lessons which you and your team can go through with study guides. Now the first one is on leadership. I call it leadership lessons. You see, that is the crux of this whole thing, is the doctor has to become the leader of the practice. This tells you how to become that leader. The second one is on finding and creating this accountable team. Doctors constantly ask me, how do I find the right team members? This DVD tells you what to look for. For example, we hire for attitude, we hire for curiosity. Those are the things that we're looking for, and this one really explains it. It also gives you several guidelines for holding you and your team accountable to certain metrics in the practice. The third part of this is profitability and numbers. What numbers do we look for? What numbers do we monitor? How do we increase the profitability of the practice? Now, I think this is critical for not just the doctor, but for the entire team. You see, these are the people that are going to help you make these things happen. If they don't understand, for example, overhead per hour, how can they possibly produce a profitable schedule? When they finish this, they will understand overhead per hour. They'll know what it costs to see a patient do a crown. They'll know what it costs when a hygiene patient calls and cancels, or doesn't even call and just doesn't show up. They'll know what that means to the practice. We also have a fourth DDV here on strong systems. Now, systems are critically important. You know, my college roommate was a Navy pilot. And I asked him one time, when you're sitting on the catapult at midnight, out there and the storm is tossing the ship all over the place, you're getting ready to launch, and it goes through your mind that the last time this ship was in port, we changed a third of the crew that maintains the airplane, the catapult, and the ship. He said, our systems are so good, we can change the entire crew, and I'm confident in our systems. You need systems in your practice just as well. Then we spend one session on marketing. How do you bring in these new patients into your practice? Every patient's lifeblood is new patients, and many teams and doctors don't have a clue on how to get those new patients. And the last one I think is probably the most important, and that is on sales conversations that work. This is my most popular seminar that I give at groups all the time. Sales conversations that work. How do you sit down with that patient, or how does your team member sit down with that patient and simply have a conversation to find out what they want and have that patient say yes to your treatment plan? So there's incredible value in this. Now, with that, you also get a complete notebook which has each chapter, and there's a study guide, exercises to do. You can't help but go this to your team. They will get it. Now, in addition to that, we have Blatchford's Power Questions. These questions right here are questions that I have put together to actually have your team ask patients to determine what they want. In other words, what kind of treatment do they want, how much they're willing to pay for it, and all that sort of thing. Now, in those sales conversations that work, we cover the concept of it, we give you examples, but this is a CD of the same kind of conversations, but more specific, exactly the conversations to have with your patients. I would give this to each one of your team members, have them learn this, practice it, role play it, and I guarantee you, your production will increase. We also have the whole thing on CDs. Just in case you have a CD player in your car, we have it on CDs. If you like to listen to it on iPod, we have the whole thing on an iPod. Now, there's also on the iPod, besides all of this audio, we also have the A-game audio and just a whole bunch of audios that I've put together over the years. Some of my webinars I've done, all that sort of thing. Also, 2 books that we have written. Now, they have my picture on the cover. Oh, I do have another shirt. So, this is Playing Your A-Game. Now, I do have to say, my wife writes these books. I talk, she writes. So there's Playing Your A-Game. These are case studies of a number of doctors that we've worked with. And these are success stories of real life doctors practicing. And you and your team can read this. This is our Blatchford blueprint. A lot of meat in this book. And here's a special birthday bonus along with the system, a fast start training video where I show you how to quickly implement it and how to get your team on board right away. This way, you plug it in instantly and every person in your team can watch it. I make it ridiculously easy to understand and implement. Scroll down this page to see point-by-point list of exactly what's inside this system. This is 100% risk-free. And if you're even 1% skeptical, and if you don't think it's worth every penny you paid and then some, simply ship it back to us, no questions asked, for a full refund. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. You're going to love this system, and I guarantee it. Go ahead and get yours now before they're all gone.